Hey guys, it's Sailor Turn Gamer and we're coming at you with another Anthem related video. Yesterday I posted a Q&A video from the final Devstream before release. During that live stream session they also spoke on the live roadmap situation as well. If you were unable to view that live stream, don't worry, I got you covered. There's also a video on the channel where I gave my initial thoughts on the roadmap and made some predictions about it as well. I'll put a link in the description box and you can click the card right here if you want to watch that video. If you're new to the channel, we are an up-and-coming content creator and we focus on Anthem and a free-to-play RPG named Dauntless. We also stream at twitch.tv/SailorTurnGamer, link in the description box below, if you ever want to catch us live. If you enjoy the video, please give it a like and a share, and join the fleet by hitting that sub button. Enough about that, let's get into today's video, and you can catch this sailor out in the open ocean. Peace.
So the last thing I want to talk about is something that Chad and I are super excited about. We worked a lot on this is
yeah, for sure.
Okay, this is all about launch, but we have this really cool live service. The launch is really just the beginning. There's so much more to come. And so we released, I don't know when it was, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, the start of a live roadmap. And so we just wanted to bring that up and just talk you guys through it. Like, we're not necessarily going to reveal more information, but we think we can offer more context to it, because kind of our goal for the roadmap was to really make sure people get that for us this is just the beginning and that we're really committed to it and want to have a rich live service. And so I won't steal the thunder from what we're going to talk about, but if Lisa, we can swap out a game. I should probably put the controller down or I'll keep playing. Swap out a game and take us to the roadmap if we have it.
Yeah, I think it's... The best thing is you're going to live longer here than I did when I was playing, just standing still.
Well, AJ's out there killing everything for us.
Oh, yeah, fair.
You didn't
I didn't have that benefit. Fair enough.
I mean, Nighthawk and Dragon are brothers forever.
Forever, exactly.
If you don't get the Nighthawk and Dragon joke, literally into Google type Nighthawk and Dragon.
Yes.
And then picture one of them is me and one of them is Mike Gamble. That's the joke.
So, yeah, so the context, this is one of the assets that we shared last week, talking about where we're going with this game for the long term. And, I think I'd take a step back and kind of introing this a little bit and say, through the shows that Ben and I have been doing and the interviews that we've done, one of the main questions we get is, from really, committed players, what's our commitment behind this game and what's our plans for the long term? And putting this out was a big moment for us because we've been working on plans for post-launch for quite a while, and we've got people working on that now to help make an amazing experience for our players after launch. And so getting this out in a way that we could start to talk about what's going to come after launch was really an important event for us. And so this first slide or first image shows kind of a commitment to the long term for us in terms of the longevity for this game that we want to see. And there's not a lot of details on there, but I think what you'll see, and we have to be careful what we talk about and what we don't, but we think about Anthem's post-launch content in these sequence of acts, where an act represents this grouping of content and updates that we'll do that has a narrative theme to it that we think is going to be super compelling for the players. And this first one we're calling Echoes of Reality, and it leads up we had. But the main takeaway I want everybody to have from this is just like we're in this for the long haul. We want this to be an amazing experience for many years. And I think if you look at the way that BioWare wants to evolve games like Anthem, it's exactly behind this kind of stuff.
Yep, cool. So we flip to the next one. Oh, it's us again. Hey, we're back, but maybe for a second. I can kind of just start talking to it as we maybe get it up. But yeah, like Chad said, it's super hard pre-launch to share the specifics of every update that we're going to do, because a big part of going live is looking at how players play the game and reacting to it. And so we call that quality of life. A lot of the things we've just spent the stream talking through is like we hear what players are saying and we fix it. And so often to do those things, you kind of have to push out some other plans. And so we wanted to kind of, to start with, pre-launch, talk in themes and speak to, and we can flip over whenever you're ready, speak to the kind of, what are the, within Act 1, like Chad said, it's a bag of things, and each act could be different.
Bag.
A bag. Well, you can't see my gestures anymore, which is probably good because they're silly, but a bag of things. And each act could be different, but in the first act, we wanted to have these 3 themes.
Right.
Evolving world, stronger together, and then the cataclysm. And without going into all the specifics, we wanted to share like what do those themes mean to us and like why are they important, we think, to Anthem the game. And so evolving world is really the payoff that Anthem is this dangerous world. One of the strengths, I think, of the IP, the narrative, the world building is that this world is constantly evolving and it's constantly changing. And so we wanted to pay that off by saying, hey, when you come to Anthem, there's always a new experience waiting for you. And that might be, doing a stronghold or things you know about, but it can also take the form of things like events. And so, an example of an event.
Have we shown one of those yet?
Yeah, so an example of an event we showed in the demo.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we did.
Did you guys like that? I thought it was.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And so it can be things like that where it's like, hey, maybe we spawn Titans in the world for a couple hours or a couple days, and Titans drop great loot, and we have a challenge associated with it, and then you can collect the loot and complete the challenge. And it's like a fun thing to log into. And other things will be more subtle, and I don't want to talk about them to spoil them, but there are small things that we think the players who play a lot will notice these things and say, what's this about? And sometimes there's cool rewards to that, and sometimes it leads you into something bigger.
Well, I think you've really touched on some nice things that we've talked about for quite a while during Anthem's development. And it's like, yeah, there's the evolving world piece, but it's also just this sense that there's always going to be something new to come back and discover and be part of this, both the community but also the game as it evolves over time. Because hopefully what you're seeing and what we've been showing is this, really meaningful engagement that we want to hear feedback from you about what you like and what you don't like as you're playing the game. And we'll use that as we go forward with the live calendar to adjust things.
Yep. And so just to take that passionate story that we've delivered, like this, for us, will mainly take the form of events that you experience in free play. And we have a lot of cool things we're doing there. Specifics aside, so we'll get to that. So that was Evolving World. The second one was Stronger Together. And so Stronger Together is really about, the freelancers done all this stuff, and I won't talk about the story, and their numbers are growing, and you're forming together trying to take on tougher and tougher challenges, and we need some social constructs for that. And so that's all about promoting social interaction and promoting social competition. So 2 things that are on that page are guilds and leaderboards. And so, guilds are a great way for like-minded people to get together and form like a social group where when you get on, you can look who's in your guild, invite people, and kind of group up and do activities and stuff like that.
And we understand how important that is for games of this style, for sure. It's been part of what we've done for a bunch of other games for years, and I think it's going to be a really big addition as part of that Stronger Together element to bring that together in a nice way.
Yeah, for sure. And then leaderboards, like I don't want to get into all the details today, but leaderboards is about social competition. So like if you're like ahead in the power curve and you're starting to beat some of the more difficult difficulty levels like Grandmaster 2 or 3, and you're starting to get like decked out in Masterwork and Legendaries, as that loot chase, you're reaching a very powerful level, you want to compete with your friends. So then it becomes more than just can I beat the content and can I get the best loot to can I do it better than my friends? And what does better than my friends mean? That's the stuff that we'll talk about later, as well as what content would have a leaderboard and how does that work? And is it like a yearly leaderboard or a weekly leaderboard? Like all those things we don't want to talk about right now, but that's some of the stuff we'll discuss. But just to kind of put that out there, that Stronger Together is about things like those 2 things, and that's not the end of the list of what we want to do. It's about improving social interaction across the board. They might be quality of life improvements or some other things we have in mind, but just to give a sense of that theme. And then the third one is the Cataclysm. So the Cataclysm is really, and we've talked a bit about this in press and interviews and maybe even on a stream at some point, but it's really about aspirational content. And so, players often ask questions like, will you have raids? And like, we don't want to use that term raid, but like, what does a raid represent? It's aspirational content. It's the thing that you do with friends that you might schedule like Tuesday, Thursday nights to play together. And it's like the toughest challenge with the greatest rewards. And so for us, that comes in the form of a Cataclysm. And there's a lot of detail to share there and a lot of information that's not for today. But that's what it represents in the ecosystem. So we're kind of saying, as you come to Anthem and experience the world, you'll experience this evolving world, and events will will spawn, and you'll have these unique experiences, and then you'll band together in groups and start to
Right.
experience social competition. And then that journey takes you to the biggest part of the act, which is the cataclysm. That's saying, like, now that you've learned all these things and you form these friendships and you have this power, like, now go take on a tougher challenge. That's a bit more aspirational, but we still want it to be really accessible. So it'll be something that a group of 4 players can just go and play and have a good time. It's just that they might not get the same loot and rewards as a highly coordinated group of more what you would call, say, a hardcore players.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
again, none of that makes a lot of sense without all the details.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to tease enough to,
Yeah.
to say there's some really cool stuff coming, and then as we get into the live service, we're fixing the issues that come up and we're improving the game, we can start sharing more details about, okay, hey, and now we're also adding new stuff. What is that new stuff? And we'll keep sharing that. But there are 3 themes for Act 1.
Right. The only thing,
know.
I mean, a few things I'd add to that just is like,
Yeah.
if you look at we can't share details on it, but if you look at the way the narrative will build over that, I think there's some cool things that the fans and players will see with that too. And I think all this ties together both, thematically and systemically in a really nice set of updates that we're super excited about, because we understand the importance of tying this all together in a way that improves the quality of life in the game, improves the experience overall, but also advances the story and does some things that we think are really cool and unique to the Anthem experience overall. One final point I'd add. This is all included with the game, so we've got questions about that too. This is not DLC or purchase content. This is part of what you get with the original, the purchase of the game.